Hey everybody, this is Christina Delgado. It is the Diesel Nation team call with the one and only Darin Olien, the creator of Shakeology and Ultimate Reset and all these amazing things that have helped change our lives. So say hi, Darin.
Hey everyone.
Becky will be jumping on in just a second, but I wanted to first tell you, Darin, thank you so very much for taking time out of your schedule. I know you are really out there talking about your book, Super Life, that I want you to address on the call. So I know you're a busy guy, and I'm sure you're formulating new Shakeology flavors for us, and you're going to talk about all that tonight. I'm
Yeah.
just kidding, but thank you for being on. It really means a lot to us because speaking for myself, what you have done and the work that you do and that you have poured yourself into through the course of the last 20 years has changed my life, has changed countless lives in my family, in my friends, and obviously our team that is nearing 7,000 coaches right now. So just imagine
Wow.
the ripple effect that that has had because of something that you have created. So thank you for that. And
So
if you
welcome.
guys are on this call and you haven't heard my story, I just wanted to tell Darin myself how Shakeology impacted my life. I kind of mentioned this before we got on, but I have been a coach for 4.5 years, and I was actually my sister Becky's Shakeology guinea pig. Shakeology was a baby when she became a coach. And so she's like, here, drink this. And you don't like chocolate, so drink this green one. And so I did that because Big Sister told me to. And lo and behold, 6 months later, I lost 65 pounds. I had never felt better in my life. It has really transformed the way I eat. I'm the girl in the video that says I don't eat vegetables, not a single vegetable. I eat vegetables now, and that has in large part has to do with Shakeology and entirely has to do with Ultimate Reset. So, Darin, thank you for completely transforming the way that I see food and the way that I eat because it's really made a big difference for me. So, with that said, I will
Amazing.
stop talking because you guys want to hear from him. And I want you to share with us a little bit about your story and how Super Life came to be. So, I'll turn it over to you.
Very cool. Thank you for saying that story. That never gets old. The power that has, and the power that plants have, really, and that's a testament to what that is. And thank you. That's the greatest gift I can imagine. Is receiving that kind of benefit from people and their lives changing. I think the thing for me is the Shakeology and how it was. Do you want me to the story of how I
Yeah.
ended up here, kind of?
Yes.
Um, well, I'll keep it short, but I'm going to go all the way back, um, because that gives you an understanding of where my whole trajectory started, and my journey started when I was 3.5 pounds and 2 months premature, and a 50-50 chance of living when I came into this world. And the signaling that I got when I came into this world was this is a really fragile thing, or life. And so that that set me up to having a whole host of physical issues as a kid, learning disabilities, and hyperactive thyroids, and a lot of weird things as a kid. So I was on medications. I stopped them on my own without letting anyone know. And then cut to at the age of 13. I'm a normal kid from Minnesota, right? And at the age of 13, I spontaneously, serendipitously found an article on a grapefruit cleanse. I think it was in the newspaper, and I then got a bunch of grapefruits and did my first cleanse where I saw the power of food, right? And how it affected me. And at 13, I was like, wow, I actually feel better. And these medications weren't working. So it was the first time that I kind of grabbed that first tool, and that was the first understanding of the power of food. And of course, I continued on like a regular teenager and ate, crazy amounts of bad food.
Mhm.
But then at 16, I got my second biggest kind of tool in that, and I found the weight room and the gym and had some mentors help me in my small town start lifting weights and getting physical and being in my body. And so then, of course, that was another huge catalyst for me. And then, um, I gained a bunch of muscle and started becoming a formidable athlete, and then started college football and starting running back in college football, and then I got hurt. So the next thing that happened was that set my whole trajectory because I abruptly ended my career and I couldn't get better. So then I changed my major and changed universities and started studying nutrition and physiology, and then that was the time where I needed to learn this for myself first. And so I professionally started going down that road, and then the more I learned about the body, the more I just got forever curious, and that kind of started my insatiable passion for this miracle that we're living in and with our bodies and this interaction it has in the world. And then I worked with many individuals for a long time, and then I started playing with formulas, and then my father ended up passing away from alcoholism in 2005, and then I said, okay, enough playing around. Now what am I going to do with that legacy? What am I going to do with all this information that I've been gathering, all of these superfoods that I've been learning about, all this research I've been doing? Let's really actually put it into action. And so it was then that I had all these formulas and all this stuff that I was going to create my own company, because at that point, all the relationships I was having around the world, I had all these other companies trying to um, uh, kind of gobble me up and use my sourcing capabilities of all these farmers. But then in the 11th hour of almost
Mhm.
launching my own company, I had a serendipitous meeting and run in with Isabel. And then when I met her, it was kindred spirits in terms of what we perceived this world is, and how nutrition was off, and how we could do it right, and it was amazing. And then I met Carl, and it's Carl's passion was so intoxicating. I believed that he really meant it when he said, I want to affect the lives of millions of people, and I want to match what we have in our exercise videos with what we can make in our nutrition. And essentially I was sold because I knew that so many products were so bad that's why I was creating my own stuff. But then I was like, okay, well, I believe this guy and I can make this product, and then I can continue and just do my own thing after I make this thing. And so anyway, long story short, that I believe in the power of superfoods. I believe in the power of healthy choices. I believe in the power of us as people to not be victims to our own cultural weird habits. And so coming together with Beachbody was this place where I could have the full reign to make an amazing product. And in fact, Carl never even put a monetary limit on it. Often you go into a product and you formulate, and people say, well, it's got to be under this amount, and then you kind of have to make the formula based on that ceiling. We actually didn't have a ceiling. We just made it. So I just made it the way it needed to be made, and then Carl just backed into it from there. So and from this day forward, I technically I wouldn't be around if Carl didn't still believe and follow through and continue to act in accordance with never compromising. Shakeology is a forever changing, always improving formula. It's a moving target because we're always having to shape it and twist it and adjust it based on the success of the product, based on new superfoods we find, based on sometimes we grow out of ingredients because we're so massive. But every time when we have to adjust the formula or we have to change it or anything, we're always improving it. And that's one thing that you never hear of, especially when a product is hitting, $500 million in gross sales. It's really easy to skim and receive a lot more product for the company. So anyway, I just want to say that because that's why I'm here. That's why I'm technically independent. I'm forever connected to this my baby that I birthed in Shakeology. But the reason why I'm still here is because the integrity of this whole company, and that's something that is deeply embedded in everyone at Beachbody. And simply, from my experience, from the outside looking in, if you don't abide by those kind of set of standards, it just simply, you wouldn't have a job at Beachbody. It's just that simple.
I agree. I mean, I've seen the evolution of Shakeology just in my, short years as a coach. I'll make 5 years this August, and a lot of times, you see new coaches kind of get frustrated, like, well, my customer wants vegan vanilla. I mean, that's a question I'm going to ask you, but
Yeah.
when's that coming out, and when's this coming out? And I love that you said how this is an evolving thing. It's a moving target. The things change, and that it's not an easy thing that you have put together for us. And when I became a coach, it was, chocolate and greenberry, and even those two are not the same that we
Yeah.
have now. And then we had vegan, and it's been this slow process, but I think you hit the nail on the head on, the quality
Yeah.
of what you have created and why it's kind of this slower process. It's because of the integrity of the product.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to ask you a little bit more about the ingredients of Shakeology, because we see your videos kind of traveling the world, and I think it's super cool. I'm like a Shakeology geek. I love all this stuff, and um, obviously for good reason, because it helped me change my life. But if you can, for those that are on this call that are not coaches, that don't have the history that I have with the product, that are kind of listening to you, they got a little curious about, this thing that we're talking about and why we're so passionate about it. What is it about Shakeology that is different than anything else out there? And I know that might be a softball for you, but what's so different? What's so special? Why, have you taken so much time to gather all these ingredients and put them together? What does it do from a person that has not tried it before?
It's a massive question for sure, and how I can answer that is as many different ways. So take what you can from how I can explain it. Um, there's so many different ways that are hidden in the industry. There's so many ways that the layperson will never understand, never know about, never be exposed to, and never see, even if you turn a label around on a package. It's very easy to put products side by side and say, hey, mine's got more protein, mine's got less sugar, you've got more carbs, carbs are evil, blah, 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 all of this stuff. The power of Shakeology is in the the micronutrition out of anything, because at the end of the day,
Hmm.
we're formulating for ourselves. We're not formulating for this macro weird understanding that people think they have of nutrition, right? This whole thing of people going off on paleo this or ketogenic diet this or carbs are bad or all this stuff. So you can look at Shakeology and you can pick it apart in terms of what's in it. And there's some very, very, I mean, first off, from traveling around the world, I asked myself one question when I started formulating. What do people require? This day and age, at this time in our lives, we are in a massively different place than we ever have been. We're getting hit with toxins and chemicals that we've never been exposed to. There's a reason why we have these weird foods that you can hardly pronounce. The ashwagandhas, the astragalus, the sasha inchi, the yacones, the cordyceps, the reishi, all of these things. Do you know what these things are? And fathers of medicine in those countries around the world. They're one of those, for example, the ones that are within the Amazon, within Ayurveda, within in the middle of nowhere. So used these superfoods for as long as we've 10, 20,000 people, 20,000 years that we've used them. So Shakeology is massively different because of its nutrient density, its micronutrition that it's delivering. How can we prove that? We prove that by way more than the label. We prove that by the teams of people that we have, that you don't have to. Most companies kind of take that famous white paper that you get from a manufacturer and say, oh, okay, that's what it is, right? That's all that I need to, it's on there. And you can, I don't know about you, but I can make a copy of almost anything and almost say anything to prove that I want to sell a product. The difference for us, for me, why I'm spent 15 years run around the planet to 30, 40 countries is so that I can see what these plants are, how do they use them, where are they from, who is it going to benefit, not only in the people that are growing it, but to the people that are consuming it. And what are markers in those plants for us to have us be healthier, have us perform better? So when we at Beachbody have identified those power plants and those phytonutrients, those antioxidants, those of compounds that plant has, we identify with that and we test for that. We have fingerprinting that we can do. We have many tests that we can assure that what you're getting in that bag is absolutely what is supposed to be in that bag. Now, a little bit on that is that the FDA itself is an organization that has, well, I was going to say has its head in the right place, but I don't even know if that's accurate. But the FDA, let's consider that the FDA is a sheriff, right? They have a bunch of rules that they say, hey, if you're going to do this, for example, if you're going to have a supplement, then you need to obey these rules, okay, in order for you to sell a product. Unfortunately, there's no deputies to go out and make sure that people are doing that. It's the Wild West for supplements. So you can call up, and a lot of these companies are doing it, you can call up their manufacturer with their brokers that are selling ingredients and say, hey, I want a green formula. Hey, why don't you give me a green formula that matches this thing called Shakeology? And they can spit you out an ingredient list that matches what we have. But they have no idea where it came from. They have no idea. They don't have the relationships. They don't know what they're looking for. And often you get barely any potency in some of those things. So the difference between us and a lot of other people is that we spend the time, resources, and money in our quality assurance teams that absolutely travel around the world to those places to see it, to test it, to make sure that that it's being processed the way it's supposed to, and then our research and development teams are testing everything and making sure everything's above board. The problem is that you would think that everyone would do that if they're selling something that people are ingesting. But when you're looking at I think it's like 30 to 40 billion-dollar industry, human the humanity of people is such that a lot of people don't have that integrity, and that's unfortunate, but it is the reality. So you can't trust early in my career, I couldn't trust what people were putting on the back of a label because I started to know more. I started to learn more. And we're talking food. We're talking food. We're talking supplements. So, the best thing I know what to do and to eat is to make sure that if I can grow it, and then I can eat it. If my farmer can grow it, then I can eat it. So it's those kind of things. So we're doing the same thing, but making sure that all those new people out there, that every ingredient is exactly what it's supposed to be. It's carefully grown, it's carefully processed, it's carefully dried in the way that that particular ingredient of 50 to 70 ingredients needs to be processed. And that's how it ends up in this little powder that's in this pretty package. But it's more than that, because it's the it's those plant allies that have been proven throughout time that they absolutely are there to help us um, deal with stress, recover, heal, all of those things. So that's essentially a little bit of a tidbit, a little bit of a rant on why we're so different. But obviously, the formulation itself is also the other thing I'll leave you guys with is the formulation itself is greater than the sum of its parts. So the Shakeology itself is its own alchemical um, conclusion. Okay, meaning that when you play with plants, you can add one plant to another, and it makes the effect. It amplifies the effect of both together. So a lot of the alchemy that Shakeology is creating a grander effect than dissecting it down into these individual things. It came up on another call. I'll leave you guys with this one thing. It's kind of a nice sentence that it kind of um, came to me as someone was asking a similar question, and that is, what is Shakeology? And it just kind of, I finally wrote it down. Shakeology is a supplement that contains some of the greatest nutrient-dense foods in the world, carefully formulated to give your body life-enhancing potential for a healthier mind, body, and stronger performance in life.
Wow.
Right? So that's it in a sentence. What Shakeology is. We've gathered nutrient-dense foods from around the world, and your story so much was that as well, because Shakeology can be a catalyst for your health.
Mhm.
If you take it, those plants can ignite the healing potential in your body, the life energy, life force in your body, and give you the opportunity to have more, be more, and choose more for your life. Because if you only know what you know, that's what you know. But when you are taken, if you're doing something that takes you to that next place, it takes you on that one step further that you can finally now see over the fence. Now all of a sudden your whole world opens up, because now I didn't even know that there was a world over this fence, and Shakeology is very much a catalyst for that because of the power of those superfoods. So
Wow. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like drinking Shakeology right now. I was literally gonna ask you probably the dumbest question to come after that, because I think you answered it in so many powerful ways. And I just want to highlight to those that are watching. My question was going to be, how do you overcome the price objection? Because we get it, right? I don't even think you need to answer that question, Darren, after listening to what you just said. I hope that every single coach or even potential customer listening to this now understands and has a concrete understanding and knowledge as to why Shakeology has a price point of $129, which to me is not expensive. I never use the word expensive when talking about this amazing nutrient dense shake that we drink every single day. I know it's still an area where some people struggle, but I hope you understand now why, listening to it from the creator, that it's not. It's a gift. It is a gift that we are giving our bodies. So I'm not even going to go there because it would be dumb to. But
Well, I
um,
would say to that, I would give you one thing that I would say is you either pay the farmer or you pay the doctor.
good
And
one.
you either pay forward with your health
Good
or
one.
you react in payment later to your degenerative health. So it's really that simple, and superfoods are a necessary part of our reality, from my professional opinion, on top of eating healthy, sleeping well, keeping your stress levels down, all of that included in that. We need these superfoods. And believe me, as you said, this is a bargain. It is not easy to fly around the world and to do this right. And we've had many opportunities to cut corners, and we've never cut corners. We make sure that a lot of products out there can have the same ingredients, but they're a cheap ingredients or they're cut with other things. So you're not paying for that. You're paying for exactly what's in that bag. Unfortunately, it may seem expensive in this reality, but the reality is that Beachbody is investing in the assurance that this is what it's supposed to be. And it's a very limited point of view to have your life be determined by the amount of money you would be willing to give it, when people don't even question the weird kind of food that they put in on a daily basis. So um, anyway, so that's a little rant on that.
No, I mean, amen, hallelujah. I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, you see people spending money on, the craziest things and then tell you Shakeology is too expensive. And, one day they will understand. And I think you're right. It's either you pay for it now or you're going to pay for it later. And I've seen firsthand with family and coaches on our team and customers, reversing type 2 diabetes. And I mean, just things like that, that we're not saying it cures anything. Obviously, I'm a lawyer, Darren. I'm not going to go, we got to do all the legal disclaimers. But when you experience testimonials like that are powerful like that, you have to understand that it boils down to the food that we're ingesting.
Yeah,
And this is one thing that's helping us get it right. I
yeah.
know it's hard, and this world is a hard place to live in. It's a hard place to eat in, but Shakeology is that one thing every single day that's perfect in my diet. And so for that, I really appreciate it. But okay, so we're almost at 9:30, and I have two more questions.
Okay.
One that you need to speak on for sure is your new book that I ordered and I haven't received yet, that I'm super excited to read. But before we get to that, I want you to just touch on, I know you're probably going to say I can't talk about it, but what's in the pipeline? Is there anything in the pipeline? Can you just give us a little hint?
Well, I can definitely tell you there's a lot in the pipeline. There really is. There's some really good. There's some flavors are always something that we're looking into. Formula enhancements, and also other supplements that will support the overall
Thing of
healthy, convenient lifestyle. Let's put it that way.
it.
But no, there's some very exciting stuff. I mean, to develop something really well, it takes some time. But we just today actually tasted some new formulas we're working on, and it's looking pretty good. So
Woo!
yeah, we're developing some awesome
Yeah.
stuff for sure.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
Thank you. Thank you. I know that's kind of like you have to dance around that one, but we
yeah.
appreciate your candor. And
Good.
then last, let's close it off with this book, Super Life. How long did it take you to write it? What's it about? What can we expect when reading it? And why does everyone need to have it? I know I was reading through your website and
Mm.
I ordered it right away because I'm like, this is something I need to get my hands on.
This is really, yeah, thank you, and I appreciate that. This is essentially 20 years of learning things from around the world and learning with some top researchers and simplifying it down into this guide that is kind of demystifying all of the fad weird things that we've been doing, because the reality is that if you take care of your body and your health, that you get everything. You get the energy, you get the weight loss, you feel great. So what I did was, when the publisher approached me, said, "What do you want to write a book on?" And they said, "Superfoods, right?" And I was like, "No, I actually want to write a book on the foundations of health, and as I call them, the five forces that are really governing your body." And when you understand these five forces, then you can kind of navigate yourself through the weird fad cultures that we're in. So it's really powerful. It's really, pun intended, digestible. Um, I get into crazy topics of the mystery of water and how important it is. I get into reversing the whole engine of how we perceive healthcare. Because I'll just quickly, is there's a point in our history where we bought into the idea that we catch colds, we catch diseases, and in fact, it's never been in our history. Only for this little while that we bought into the American Medical Association's view of catching something and being in fear of catching something, when in fact the all of the healers before that in our history have always said, you don't catch anything. You created an environment for it, or you created an environment against it. So the intelligence of bacteria, viruses, disease have their own intelligence. So if they come into your body and determine that it can survive and proliferate, then it absolutely does. But if it comes into your body and you're taking care of yourself and you're eating superfoods and you're drinking your water and all of these things, and it comes into this very clean environment, then it goes, I don't think I'm going to last here, so I'm not going to stay here. So it's this whole thing of, I'm getting into a different view, a more powerful view on how to take care of ourselves. And by the way, this book informs how I formulated Shakeology. It informs how I helped create the Ultimate Reset. It's all, the roots of it are all in this book, and it's really wonderful, and we've gotten a lot of awesome responses. And hopefully it's got my voice in it, because it's really wonderful. And this whole thing of how I titled Super Life and why I wrote it on these five forces was that, what do I care about? And I asked myself, I want to have a super life on every level, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. And if my body's gone, I'm gone. I can't respond to life. I don't want to have to worry about my body. I don't want to have to worry about as my body breaks down. I want to give it what it needs so it can thrive, so that I can play with children, run up a mountain, enjoy life. So that's what the Super Life title came from. And the five forces are extremely powerful, easy to understand things. And everyone can go to superlife.com, my new website, sign up for the newsletter, free, just more information. And then if you want to go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble, you can certainly do that, because I wrote the book for you guys. I wrote the book for people that require it, need it to pay it forward and not hold this information anymore. So that's how it came out, and so from the jungles to now sharing more of my information to all of you is really where it's different for me, but it's really fun.
Awesome. Well, I think that's super powerful, and the way that I see this book is not only going to be beneficial for us on a personal level, but coaches, if you're listening to what Darren just said, it's actually pretty good. It's going to be a great tool for us to help our clients, because we're going to start understanding on a deeper level, how the body functions. So if I were you, I'd get it. I did. Hey, it might be a gift for my new coaches. You never know. But it's something that I think we all need to kind of educate ourselves on, as the world keeps turning and disease keeps becoming more prevalent. I mean, I think we all see it happening. Darren, I wanted to say as we close out. This has, I think, has been one of the most amazing calls that we've ever had on our team. Congratulations on becoming a newlywed and on your marriage. We saw the pictures. Congratulations on that, on the book.
Thank you.
And again, I don't think words can express how we feel about the work that you do and the work that you continue to do for Beachbody and with Shakeology and everything that you have done. So with that, thank you so, so much. I guess I hope we'll see you at Summit.
For sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
really awesome in Nashville. So thanks. We'll call it a night there. It was amazing. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Have a great night, everyone.
Bye.